here and you see all of the departures and losses, including Washington there, no Amari Cooper. So one man's not so urgent might be another man's, holy smoke, we got a problem here. Let me ask Dan Orlovsky which of those men he is as we take a look at this in Dallas. How concerned are you about the Cowboys offense right this minute, Dan Orlovsky?
Not overly concerned because it's the situation that I've been telling the Cowboys for 3 months to do more of, and that's playing 12 personnel with 1 back and 2 tight ends. I have felt that way since they traded Amari Cooper. I think this offense is at its best, and their offensive play caller, Kellen Moore, is at its best when they have multiple tight ends on the field. CeeDee Lamb's got to take a big jump forward, but I think Dalton Schultz is one of the better young tight ends in all of football. And Sean McKeon, a younger tight end, is a good player for them. They drafted Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin. I actually texted Kellen. I said, dude, just live in 12 personnel. It's when you're absolute best. It's when you can get your run game most committed to. It's when that allows Dak Prescott to play a little bit more on the move in their play action game. I have felt that their perimeter players were going to be lesser than they anticipated. But the Cowboys weren't winning the NFC East because of James Washington. That's not a disrespect to him. And they're not going to lose the NFC East because of James Washington. They are at their absolute best when they have multiple tight ends on the field. This only expedites that process for them.
Yeah, I believe it was Tannenbaum on this show yesterday who said, look, let's not make James Washington out to be Jerry Rice. I get that part of it.
He also said something else outrageously nuts, Greeny, when he said for them to go get a OBJ. That's nuts. It's nuts.
Well, why is that nuts? That's where I was going to go next. Tannenbaum, go ahead. For those who weren't with us yesterday, tell everyone the thing that you said that made Dan Orlovsky say you were crazy.
Well, Greeny, while I didn't text OBJ, if I did, here's what I would tell him. You're the best player on the planet as a free agent. You're not healthy right now, but he will give them an explosive element while Michael Gallup comes back from injury, ironically the same ACL, and he was the best football player on the field the last time he played. So while I agree with Tony Pollard, Dalton Schultz, and other ways to control the line of scrimmage, he can hit a home run and be a game changer. So I am hard-pressed to think, Dan, how in the world would the Dallas Cowboys not be a better football team with OBJ than without him? And when you think about the Rams and the Packers also having interest, I do think there's a sense of urgency to sign OBJ as quickly as possible. And I can tell you as a former GM, when you're signing a player who's hurt, you want to sign them as soon as possible to help them through the rehab, get them to learn the playbook, so when they are ready to go, they can hit the ground running.
Go ahead, Danny, real quick.
OBJ is not going to be ready to play till like December because he tore his ACL in the middle of February. Second of all, if you're OBJ, are you leaving Sean McVay, LA, and Matthew Stafford when your role is exactly where you want it to be right now, to go to Dallas, who's not going to be able to pay you as much, to Dak Prescott, and demand more of you? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
easy. If he was going to sign, with the Rams, he would have done it by now. So the fact that he has other options, and by the way, we don't know when a player is going to be ready. We can look back at Cam Akers, who had a remarkable turnaround. So I don't think we should put any sort of limit on when a player may or may not be ready. I'm just saying that by signing OBJ, he's going to help their offense as the year goes on. And to me, if I'm Dallas, I try to do that as soon as possible.
You get the man a ham and turkey sandwich. You never know what you might be able to talk him into doing. That's an inside joke from yesterday. Diana, go. What do you think of all this?
Look, Jerry did the best Texas version of Aaron Rodgers, basically saying, relax. He didn't share as much insight as Dan just did about the offense because he doesn't want to reveal all of it. But what Dan says is exactly why Dallas isn't making any crazy moves right now, because the focus of how they're going to be using tight ends, how they're going to be using their backs. Jerry was just talking about it a few days ago, actually. So panic, not even close in Dallas right now. James Washington, yeah, he was a contributor, but he wasn't a major superstar. The Odell Beckham Jr. element to this that Mike keeps bringing up, I think it's interesting. I still believe he winds up with the Rams. I understand why it won't get done just yet. I think it's just a matter of time before he joins. There's just no rush for Jerry to try to fix this right now at the receiver position. There's no reason.
All right, so Chris Canty, on the scale of relax, panic, which side are you on?
I'm a 3 in terms of the.
That's not what I asked you. This is not a 3. What part of if this
Wrong
was
game,
unclear.
You said
Chris.
relax or
Are you
panic
relaxed?
scale.
We're not talking about your looks, Chris.
You said a scale of 1 to 10. I'm
No,
relaxed.
I did not. I did not say a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm relaxed.
I physically went like this.
When you went to scales, it kind of threw me to the scale of 1 to 10.
that's not
making games up.
Big picture. I'm relaxed about the Dallas Cowboys, and Dan Orlovsky is hitting all the right notes when he's talking about playing more 12 personnel, because you can play 21 looks, you can play 11 looks, and it creates favorable matchups in the passing games with your tight ends. But zooming out big picture, you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys playing in the NFC East, a division that they swept a year ago, and you're talking about them being able to have the best quarterback in the division and the best defensive player in the division. That will give them enough runway to be able to figure things out, but it's not just about being able to get to the playoffs, get to the postseason. Jerry Jones wants to compete for a championship, and I think that's when you have the serious questions about Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy, because the combination are 6-9 when they're playing games outside of the NFC East.
Look at Dan's face. Go ahead, Dan.
All right, love you. Okay, so Chris, when you said I'm a 3, I don't think Greeny was asking about your physical looks. You know, I think he was asking.
Oh, here
right,
comes
so
Dan.
so what
Here
I'm not going to
comes
do,
Dan.
what I'm not going to do is let us allow their quarterback off the hook. This is because the question is going to be, does Dak have enough? This is a team that has they took a first-round tackle in the draft this year. They have a Hall of Fame left tackle. They have a Hall of Fame right guard. They have a top 15 tailback in Ezekiel Elliott. They have a receiver they took in the first round 3 years ago, and they have 2 of the best defensive players in football. There is plenty to go win this division if your quarterback is what you think he is.
That's fair, and there's going to be a lot of people questioning that. Go ahead, Tannenbaum. Give me one 15-second final word. Go.
He just made the best case of why Dallas is the best team in this division, because their quarterback
Wrong again, Bob.
is still the best.
No.
Every person on this set besides Tannenbaum is picking the Eagles. All right, I've lost complete control of the proceedings here. And I think it began when I asked Chris Canty for a scale on one side or the other, and he said, I'm about a 3. Okay. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.